Good evening, everyone. My name is Atan Aslan, and I welcome you all to today's online event, Startup Disrupt from Founders Talks, event where we will talk about founders' experiences and journey to the startup ecosystem. Startup Disrupt is a platform that educates, inspires, and connects entrepreneurs, startups, mentors, technology innovators, as well as investors and corporations, not only in the Czech Republic, but also within startup communities around the world. And Turkey is a part of our community. And now we are on our way to becoming a global startup hub, working to make the Czech Republic a global hub for innovation. To begin with, just in a nutshell, what today's streaming program looks like, we will start with a panel discussion hosted by the wonderful Dorukhan Türker, founder of Pure Mind Advising Services, and then we will jump on pitch night when the three startup founders will present their projects to us in 3 minutes, and our panelists will give them feedback after their presentation. And now I'm going to pass the word to Dorukhan, our moderator. And don't forget, you can send questions to the sli.do, and in the end, Dorukhan will take time to answer those questions and discuss them with our panelists. So thank you very much. Enjoy today's stream, and Dorukhan, the scene is yours. Thank you.
Thank you, Atan. Thank you very much for the introduction. So hello, everybody. It's great to be here in online. Hopefully, in the future, we will do it in physical also, but it's fine. We like online. We all are digital people, aren't we? So today it will be a 1 hour discussion with three great startup founders. Let me introduce to you those people. Mr. İlker Naç from 25.
Hi, everybody.
Hi, İlker. Let me announce our other guests also, so we will start. Okay, so Çağlar Yeli is here from Kolayika.
Hello, everyone.
Hello, Çağlar. I'm not so sure about Emre, but let's try. Emre is here or still waiting for, because there was a small technical issue before starting. Emre Erşahin from Tapu.com is here now. Not yet, I guess. Let's start together and then hopefully Emre will join us. So, okay, İlker, could you please a little bit introduce yourself to us?
Sure. So my name is İlker. I am co-founder and CEO of 25. 25 is a consumer insights product that provides consumer brands with the latest insights about consumers from Turkey and from all around the world. So the way we do it is we have a mobile app. It's called Bounty, and Bounty is available to download on App Store and Play Store. It's a free app, so anyone can go to the App Store and download it to their phones. But as soon as they download it, they will see some surveys, some questionnaires, and some research projects inside the app. And the users are turned into a panelist, right? So they answer questions, they answer surveys, and what they get in return is they have a good time. It's a really fun app. They have a chance to impact brands' strategy. On top of that, the users are compensated with rewards, with instant monetary rewards. And we then provide that insights to our customers, our clients, to be used in their strategies to grow, to marketing, to sales. So that's what we do. So I'm actually a computer scientist. So I founded 25 back in 2014 with my two other friends. But now I'm CEO, so I'm not just doing the product stuff, but I'm also doing the sales and marketing and the international growth of the company. So in a nutshell, that's me and 25.
Thank you very much, İlker. Thank you. Let's go to Çağlar. Çağlar, how about you? Could you please introduce yourself to us?
Yeah, sure. I'm one of the founders of Kolay, a HRM software that is used by more than 6,000 companies now. And mainly we are managing all the operations since an employee starts the company till the employee left the company. Before Kolay, we founded Kolay about 4.5 years ago. Before that, I graduated from same university with İlker. İlker, you were from Boğaziçi, right?
Yeah.
We graduated from the same university. I'm a computer engineer too. After that, I joined PayPal as a sales engineer and worked there 3.5 years for Turkey and Eastern Europe operations. And part of my job was a product management. Then I joined Visa Consultancy as a consultant and went to banks to make some projects. Then I joined the founding team of Kolay.
Great. Thank you very much, Çağlar. So my question now, still waiting for Emre, but I don't know if he could join us or not. Let's see. How about the change of life after going to startup from a corporate culture? Çağlar, you have a very long corporate background, so let's start with you.
Okay, let me start with how I decided to change from corporate life to startup. I was at the consultancy, and it was like we were working about 14 hours a day, including the weekends. And one weekend, they said that we will not work this weekend. In Friday night, I go out from the company. And I didn't want to go to home. I didn't used to go to home at weekends. So I went to a startup event called Startup Weekend to learn about what is going on in the startup world. And at there it was like a hackathon with 3 days work. Efecan appeared and said that I made a human resource management tool, and now I'm trying to build a team. It's just the MVP. And I was making this digitalization of the SMEs in Visa Consultancy. So we decided to work together for 3 days. We worked together. And in the second day, Efecan asked, why don't you quit your job and join the founder team? I said that let's wait for Sunday and see the results. In Sunday, we win the competition. We had a small chat with the investors there, and at the evening we went to have a beer. We discussed what we are expecting from the company, and we agreed in the Monday I find myself in a project called Kolay. So it was a it was a fast change from corporate world to startup world. To say it briefly, the hardest part of this change was at that time I realized that I don't have a manager. I don't have no one to say what should I do. Two things: what should I do, and am I capable of doing it or not? I didn't know it at all. So since then, I would really like to have a manager to say that you can do it, you cannot do it, or you should do it, you should not do it. It would be great. I am really missing that from my corporate days. But let's break it here. Move to İlker. I can answer your question.
Sure. Let's go, İlker. What are you thinking about it?
Yeah. So my experience is a bit different from Çağlar. And maybe I can look at it from a different perspective because I didn't have much corporate experience. So like I did an internship. I think it was the third grade of the university, the third year of the university. So, and it was not a big company. It was about 50 people, and it was a software development company. So I did an internship there. So I had a sense of corporate life, but it was not really a corporate life. So it was basically, they were also a startup, but they were a big, they were growing, but they still had the startup spirit. So right after graduation, I started working for, again, a big digital agency, but I worked in a smaller group of that digital agency. So it was about, I guess, around 100 people in that agency in Istanbul. But the group I was working with was about 6-7 people. and we were kind of independent from the rest of the group. So we were taking our own decisions. So we had a product, we were developing that product, so we were responsible for the P&L of that product and the development of that product. So I didn't have much corporate experience. And just after a couple of months of graduation, I've started 25. So 25 is basically my first actual real job experience, and I started as CEO. So
Ilker, sorry, how many people now are working in the 25?
About 20 people.
So you create your own corporation?
Yeah.
Instead of working in a corporate body,
yeah, you can say that. But I've never had an experience working with a manager. I didn't have a manager. I didn't have layers of management. I didn't have someone to complain to, or I didn't have someone to ask for help. So this is really interesting for my side, and I believe it's not healthy. So that's the thing about my experience. I don't know what Çağlar will add to that, but it's been about 7 years since I started the company, and looking back, I'm always trying to realize what's been what could be do better, and what should have been done, right? And one of the things that comes to my mind is, maybe if I had a corporate experience in a large company with thousands of workers, maybe a global company, if I had an experience like that for a couple of years, then I wouldn't have to reinvent the wheel at 25. Because just think about it, like you're, I don't know, 20, I think I was 23 years old, 24 years old when I started the company, and I had almost no corporate experience. And I've started the company. We had an investment, so we had some money in the bank to spend, and we had to come up with some, business plan, marketing plan, sales plan. We had to hire people. So I started hiring people without having too much job interviews, like having job interview experience. So it was a really interesting time period. So if I had a corporate life experience, at least I had some sense of, okay, this is how it's done, and this is how we should approach this problem and things like that. So I think so whenever a new founder approaches me to get a advice from me, I tell them, okay, go find a job at a big corporation. Like, it doesn't matter if it's a software corporation or an FMCG corporation, brand, whatever. Just work there and try to understand how things are done, and try to understand what is good there and what's not good there, and what you can do better with your own startup. So that's my experience on that part.
That's a very old discussion about entrepreneurship. Do you have to start from scratch after directly finishing university, or even without university? Or do you have to have some professional experience first in some corporate, even small or big one, but in some corporate bodies, then go to entrepreneurship? So what's your experience about it, Çağlar?
It's a long discussion, probably.
Yes,
everyone heard about it. Let me put a different point of view on that. We are living with two deficiencies from the educational method that bring us to here. The first deficiency is in our education. When we start the first grade, they say that you need to learn writing, reading. You say, okay, if everybody says, our teacher says that you need to learn, we can do that. In fourth grade, they say that now you need to learn ratios. Okay, great. In high school, you need to learn trigonometry. Perfect. If you say so, it's okay. In university, it continues like that. Somebody always says that you should be capable of solving this question. But just after you graduated, you don't know what kind of questions you are able to solve. And nobody can directly tell you, when you graduate from university, I'm not sure if you will be a CEO of one of the biggest bank of the world, or you will be a just average employee. What kind of problems you will be able to, you don't know that. So you are not going from a system that you know what you are capable of. Always someone tells you. This is the first deficiency. And the second deficiency is in our educational structure, if there's a question, you know where to find the answer. It's simple. The answer is there. Or if they ask you a question, generally all the knowledge should be used to solve this question, and there is no unnecessary knowledge within the question. But in real life questions, it's not like that. In real life questions, like should I, for example, should I lay off these people for the performance? Should I hire 5 more to expand the company? Should I go into new market, or should I grow in this one? These are real life problems, and these are the answers are not clearly in somewhere. So I cannot say if you solve this 2 problem, you can be very successful, but I can definitely say that every people that I saw reach to a point very successful has solved these 2 problems. They know what they are capable of, and they know where to find the answers. If the corporate life that you live helps you to go through this way, it's definitely very, very important to make you ready for the entrepreneurship. If it doesn't help, for example, there are some, it would help in some level in any case, but if it's like an empty program, maybe the corporates are trying to make your life easier while you go from university to corporate life. If it is that easy, it may not help that much. But my point of view is at that part.
We'll go with it. İlker, there's a question from our community to you. What helped you most in developing your skills if you didn't get them while working in the corporate?
That's a good question. So, yeah, I think like when I think about it, so obviously you learn by doing stuff. You learn this stuff on the go. But the most important thing is, apart from asking for advice to people who have been there, asking to other fellow founders or your investors, your advisors, your parents, your friends, whoever you can find. I always try to find advice and try to get some perspective about certain situations and about certain skills that I need to develop. So I was always asking for feedback. But apart from that, I think the person himself or herself is the one that can say, okay, I'm lacking that skill and I need to develop that skill. And to be able to do that, you have to test your skills. You have to test your actions. So I think number one thing that helped me develop my skills was taking action. So as soon as we faced a problem early in the company, beginning of the 25, as soon as we face a problem, instead of just ignoring that problem, we face that problem head on and try to fix that and try to make decisions. So when you make decisions, you see whether your decision was right or wrong, and that gives you a signal whether you did something right or wrong. So if you did something right, that's good. So you're developing your skill. If you've done something wrong, that's also good. I mean, you maybe screwed up, but you learned something that you shouldn't do it again. So I believe that was helpful. Like taking action instead of being inactive and trying to ignore hard stuff was important at the beginning. And then obviously reading blogs, reading books, asking advices, all of them are necessary.
Yes, learning is something continuous. You cannot stop.
Exactly.
You have to learn every day. So yes, you have to keep yourself updated. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, maybe like what one of the things I think that might stood out I did was, rather than trying to read startup books, I tried to read about people who built some, old school corporations. For example, I've read Walmart CEO's book about building Walmart. Walmart is it's a revolutionary company, but it's a retailer, right? It's very 100-year-old business. So I've read about it, right? So how do they build the company? So I try to learn about the traditional companies rather than trying to read about all the Silicon Valley startups and stuff. I've read them obviously, but that part helped me the most while building the company, because a company is a company at the end of the day.
Definitely.
Whether you're doing it high tech or whether you're doing a retailer, it's the same thing. It's a composite of people.
Yes, Çağlar, I'll ask something to you, but before is, I think one of the most important things that we sometimes forget to talk about is capability to work with other experts, like legal experts, like finance experts. When you become an entrepreneur, you have to work with those people because you have to know everything, basically everything. It's impossible to know everything, of course, but at least you have to have some ideas about anything about your company. But you, at the same time, you have to work very close with those kind of experts in their areas. And you have to trust them. You have to find correct people to work together. But it's something very important. You cannot do everything by yourself. You have to work with correct people at the same time.
Exactly.
Yeah. Çağlar, İlker mentioned about the problems and challenges on the startup world while working. So tell me about this transition, about changing from corporate world to startup world and the challenges that you faced in the way.
Let me continue from the point I left. The biggest challenge was not having a manager saying you what to do and if you are doing good or bad. Because in some point we realize that even if we are, according to other people, we are doing great job, we always think that we are doing something bad, not enough, and it puts pressure on yourself. It's good and bad. It's good because if you don't pressure on yourself, you cannot go to anywhere. It's bad because it creates really big important mental challenges. Some of the entrepreneurs can handle it, and some of them cannot handle that. Generally, they are not in these meetings and they are not talking, but it's really hard mental processes to go. Some of them get sick, some of them get mentally ill, etc. This pressure you put on yourself was the biggest challenge. And apart that, as İlker mentioned, learning, there are some problems and they are new. There isn't any clear source that you can go and take the answer. So you need to learn, and you need to learn fast. It's not like you need to develop some skills. There are problems you need to solve fast. You can solve or you cannot solve. If you can't solve, which is normal, which is perfectly normal. Thinking that way, İlker is trying to build a company which would valued $100 million. And if he succeeds that, he will probably get a couple of $1 million, which is a great money. It's not something that you can easily go and do it. If there's a problem, if you solve it, okay, then you can be successful and you can get a couple of $1 million, which is acceptable, which is okay, but it's not normal. So generally, the expected result is you cannot solve this problem, you fail. You can learn and then you can solve this problem, but it is still the normal is you can't learn and you can't solve this problem later on. But if you try to make something not normal, with a lot of reading, with a lot of asking, with a little luck, with a little help, and with a little bit risk from your investors. If investors don't put some risk money that you can try, learn, and fail, you cannot do it. I think the investors are not just funding the company; they are funding the entrepreneurs MBA too, in a sense.
Definitely. That's very correct. Yes. There's a question here. There are some questions. Let's start with this one. As a founder, how you motivate your team members? But please answer it in for two different times. For the beginning, for the first days of your startup, and then for, let's say, become more successful, become invested. So I think those two times are very different from each other. So how you motivate your team in the beginning and now? İlker, let's start with you.
Okay. So I think it starts with working with the right team, right people. So if you cannot motivate a person who's not already ready to be motivated and ready to tackle challenges.
Definitely the same answer, by the way.
Yeah.
Go on.
So yeah. Okay. So like I think it's when you find that person, and I call it in Turkish içten yanmalı insan, but in English I think the exact translation would be
self-motivated. Let's say
self-motivated.
Yeah.
I was gonna say internal combustion engine, but I think it's not the right.
Spirit.
I think it's not. Yeah. So I think you need to find the self-motivated people, because once you find that person, because think about it, we ourselves as entrepreneurs are self-motivated, right? I mean, we have a cause. We want to change something. We have a problem with something, and we cannot sleep until we tackle that problem. So as long as you find people like this in your team and bring them and attract them into your team, then you won't have a hard time motivating them. So for example, in our team, like many of our team members are people like this. So they are really self-motivated. They are here to change something, tackle status quo. So they are trying to write a new chapter in our industry, right? So they want to be in this story. So that's what motivates them. And once it happens, like they do amazing things. Like they come up with amazing ideas. Just today, like we had a great session. One of our team members just thought about an idea. Okay, why don't we do this? And we had a meeting, and all of a sudden we now have a different, not different, but another offering on top of our current offering. So just one day, in just a day, we've come up with some offering, and it's like you cannot force that. You cannot try to motivate it. Obviously, there are things that you do to bring people together, keep the morale high, and keep the people from being drowned under the workload. So there are things, but I think they are minuscule things and they are really common. But the most important thing, I think, is to find the right person.
Yeah. Çağlar, do you want to add something?
I agreed with all of them. Just wanting to add, motivation is some of the modern words that don't have much meaning. In fact, in my idea, if I need to motivate an employee to make a better work, he or she will eventually fail, because eventually, for a reason, he will get unmotivated. Doing your business, doing your job. I'm a professional. You are a professional. No one needs extra motivation to do the job. It's a profession. But eventually, if you are able to motivate yourself, and you would be happy, and you can live a better life. But working and doing a great job is not directly related to motivation. and it's definitely not the manager's job to motivate the people. It's everyone's job to motivate themselves to get better results on their career and be more successful on what's the task that they are doing.
I think the manager's role definitely is not motivate people, maybe, but the manager's role is to create the environment in which the people who are working don't need to find reasons to become unmotivated, let's say.
Exactly.
Exactly. It's the case. It is
Mhm.
something that we need to do. If they feel that they are not appreciated, or if they feel that they are not valued, etc., okay, they get unmotivated. But it's the right word is not motivation in there, I guess. It's not unmotivated. They feel unvalued or something like that.
Definitely.
But
Definitely.
I agree with that. We shouldn't be motivating them, and we shouldn't be unmotivating them. We should be a professional and let's say reasonable relationship with all of them.
If you build as a boss, as an entrepreneur, as a founder or owner of a company, the perfect environment, it will not be always perfect, of course. That's real life, but still a almost perfect environment, let's say. I don't think that it will be a motivation problem for people. In this point, after this point, it will be a decision of working in here or not. If someone is not happy to work in a place, it's another thing. It's not about motivation. If they like this job or not. But of course, we know it. Of course,
if I have time, let me tell you a small story from an HR friend of mine.
And you are an expert of HR, by the way.
Yes, and she's working at a big retail in Turkey office of the big retail company. The general manager of Turkey office, country manager, decided to give breakfast to employees. Because in Istanbul they are spending a lot of time in the road and they cannot eat something. So let's put some small things like cornflakes, like bagels, etc. Some small things. In some point, after a couple of years, they come from the global HR and make some surveys to employees, and they're asking what's the worst thing about the company. The worst, almost half of the employees say that the worst thing about the company is breakfast. There aren't enough types. They need to be some bananas, etc. And the global HR says that what breakfast? We are not giving breakfast to you. And they said that no, you are giving, and it's a bad breakfast. So from the global order, the country manager should cut the breakfast for all.
Good.
So after, if this employee probably will get unmotivated. They are looking for a reason. It's not about the breakfast. It's not about something you say. If they will get unmotivated, they will eventually get to that point. Whatever you do, whatever you try to make to the company, they will reach. Of course, there is a reasonable point, as I mentioned, but it's about the culture. It's about the personalities too.
That's definitely. It's about the economic situations and all the details, of course. But
that's a good story, Çağlar.
There's another question, which it's always a curious question. How you funded your startup at the beginning?
It was hard.
So tell us the story, Çağlar.
Simple. I didn't have money when I started. My co-founder didn't have money too. We started. We think that within a couple of months we can earn some money. We couldn't. We give up from our houses, etc. About 12 months we managed living. After 12 months, we get our first investment, but from first investment, we didn't get any money, small, just zero amount of money we get to founders. After 7 months, we get our second investment, and after second investment, we decided to get finally a salary and move on that.
So for almost 2 years, you managed to survive somehow. Not the company, but I'm asking for yourself.
Yes, it was the hardest part of my life, I guess. It will always be the hardest part of my life.
Yeah. So how did you do it without any money? Did you live with your family, for example? Let me ask you detailed questions.
In my cousin,
Yeah.
there was a small room, and I lived there. For some time, I lived at the office. It was the office was in the living room, and I was living in the back part of the house office. Yeah, I lended some money from my friends, borrowed. Some of them I still couldn't pay back, but I see them as an investor, which is okay, I guess. So after that, we get the investment, we get our first investment. Then the investors funded the startup, in fact. But before that, this 1 year, I'm not sure we can count the company as a startup or something. It was like two people trying to understand something that is almost impossible. So investors funded startups, but before that, we invested to ourselves to learn something to make ready to expense the investment.
I see. How about your story, İlker?
I think we were a bit luckier than Çağlar and probably most of the startup founders in Turkey and in the world. So we've started with an investor in our journey. So like even before we had a product, we had financial backing from a venture capital in Turkey. But then again, it was a really small amount because it was being put into company in tranches, like in small amounts. As we hit some milestones, we will get the rest of the investment. So like we didn't have hundreds of thousands of dollars at the beginning of the company. We had like small amount, and we were paying ourselves the minimum wage in Turkey. So, but still, we were paying something for ourselves. So it helped with the paying with rents, paying for food. But the rest of the story is similar with Çağlar. Like I was sharing a home with two other people already in Istanbul, and I continued that. So we were splitting the rent into three, so it was helpful. Like I was staying half of my time. I was sleeping in the office, and we didn't even have an office at the beginning. Like we were, like for example, initially we asked our university to give us a room. They find a room in the attic of a building. So we were there for a couple of months, and then we moved to another university until we find the office. So that was pretty similar initially. But then as we grow, we got investments. We got more investments from the same investor and also other investors. And then we were able to provide better income for ourselves. I think like you can ask this to any founder and you will get the same answer. So what we earn right now is not really important. So I think the most important thing is, okay, I earned something from the company that I built. It is to keep the food on the table, nothing more than that. It's not to make me rich or something. I mean, I don't know anyone getting rich by just earning salary. So it's just to keep the food on the table and keep my mind out of life's regular problems, like how will I provide my family, how will I provide for my future and things like that. It's just to prevent those thoughts and solely focus on the business. So once you have that mindset, I mean, it doesn't matter if you have a very low salary. You get by just by having just really minimum income if you have a vision and a plan, let's say.
For how long?
I don't know. I think it depends. I mean, like there are many serial entrepreneurs. I mean, this is my one and only startup, and we've done fairly good. So I consider myself lucky, but not many founders are having success at their first startup. So there are many entrepreneurs who has like 2, 3, 4 startups in a row. and I don't know how do they do it. Like it's really hard. So like every time they start a new company, they go through all the financial burdens, psychological burdens, sociological burdens, all that stuff. So I had to go through this only once. So it was okay, like I've survived. But doing this for many times or for many years, I don't know. I mean, I think there is a limit to every person's survivability. I guess so. That's my answer. I don't know what Chala thinks about it.
How about Chala?
I mean, let me give a no example. Melih Ödemiş and Nevzat Aydın graduated from same university like us, and same subject.
Chala, sorry, let's say those people are the founders of yemeksepeti.com for our maybe someone don't know yet. Yeah,
they are founder of yemeksepeti.com,
yeah.
one of the biggest success story of Turkey entrepreneurship history.
Yeah.
But no, they started the company just like İlker, just after the graduation they started. But nobody talks about the years that how many years they couldn't put their first invoice. After 5 years, they worked 5 years and there were zero invoice. I mean, I can't imagine the psychological pressure on them from their families, from their friends, while their friends going to great breakfast. It's simple, but when probably their friends call them, we are going to breakfast, would you like to come? And they said no, because they don't have enough budget to go, which is a big burden. So probably they got money after 7-8 years. So
yeah,
it's the general story. We are not so, it's not dramatical. It's the nature of the business. The nature of the business is you are risking everything. Whatever you have, you are risking on it. If you are successful, you can get back. If not, you are losing what you have. That's simple.
That's simple. So okay, let's talk about the advantages and disadvantages of being an entrepreneur or being a part of startup ecosystem.
What advantage? Okay.
You are free. You feel free.
Advantages, İlker?
That's a hard question.
Good.
So
that's good. That's good. We will have some pitches after us, Well,
I will
at least motivate them.
I will try to buy some time. So there was a good keynote speech from Evernote founder. I forgot the guy's name. So there was a great keynote speech. I think it was about 5-6 years ago, and he was saying, like, there are many wrong reasons to start a company. So, for example, people may think, okay, I will start my own company and I will be the boss, right? I will call the shots. Everyone will report to me, and I will be free as I can be. That's wrong, because when you're a startup founder, everyone is your boss. Your team is your boss, because you're responsible for everything of your team. Your customers are your boss. Your investors are your boss. So you're the only person. So who doesn't have under that
advantages?
Right?
So advantages. Please give me one advantage.
I will come to that. So that's a wrong reason, he says. Or maybe people may think, like, I will start a company and I will be rich because I will be next Steve Jobs, I will be next Mark Zuckerberg. But the statistical probability of you being rich is really, really, real small. You might as well go and become a banker or a software engineer or whatever. So you have a higher probability of earning more money than you would earn as a startup founder or entrepreneur. And the list goes on, right? Like, he lists every wrong reason to be a founder. He lists only one reason to be a founder, and it's it's changing the world. And it doesn't mean changing the world as in like Tesla building electrical cars or Apple making iPhones and stuff. even small change, even just changing a couple of people's lives or a couple of companies' lives and the way of doing work, marking your making your sign to the world. I think that's the only, like he says, that's the only good reason to be a founder. And I agree with that thought process. And I think the most the best advantage is to have the opportunity to have an impact on the world. And like I'm thinking of, okay, I will become like 70 in a couple of decades, and I will look back and I will say, whether 25 fails or 25 becomes a multi-billion-dollar company, I will say I've tried to do something different. So that's, I think, that, I mean, I can't think of other advantages.
I think the biggest advantage is you can choose whoever you can work with. You can work people. You can choose the people you spend all your day. It's the biggest advantage. It's something that İlker may not realize it, but in corporate it's different. You cannot choose it, so you need to get used to it. It's the biggest advantage. Knowing, having a big network, learning a lot is advantages. Having this conversation in this meeting at this young age is, let's say, honoring. For once more, thanks for inviting us. We may not be there yet, but we are still learning. Making us an example is make you feel better. But let me put in another way why İlker told the story in this much. How I see entrepreneurship is, I'm a Fenerbahçe fan. Let's think that there's a Fenerbahçe Galatasaray match, and I want to bet on that. And the bet says that 1-2 for Fenerbahçe. So I have three choices. The first thing is I can say that Fenerbahçe will win. We go to watch the game with İlker. I say Fenerbahçe win. He says Galatasaray win. So if Fenerbahçe win, I would say that I said. The second option is I can bet $50. If I win, it's $50 more, $100, which is great. So I earned today's, let's say, beer money. The third option is I can invest $50,000, which is a great money for me. In fact, if I invest $50,000 to that much, it's not just Fenerbahçe Galatasaray to me. After that, a simple corner is not a simple corner for me. I would be watching a different game than everyone else is watching. Entrepreneurship is something like that. After you are betting that you and your co-founders will get very successful.
One small difference between betting on a match and being an entrepreneur is you will play the match also. In this case, not only watch it.
It is more depressing. I would prefer.
It is more
investing to someone else is being an investor. Investors are betting on us, but we are betting on ourselves. It's more depressing, in fact. So it's a cheat. But it's, if you say that, but me and my co-founders will be very successful. Eventually, we will get very successful. Think in that way. If Melih Ödemiş, founder of Yemek Sepeti, would start, for example, Garanti Bankası and continue working on that, probably he was going to be a CTO of Garanti Bankası. Because he knows how to get successful. He would eventually get successful. But he get the risks and he reached the point. But it is the bet is how much you get successful. The risk is what you put on that. And I don't think the best way of living is putting everything to your being successful. It is not the best way of watching Fenerbahçe Galatasaray game.
Definitely. The thing is, what I see about all those young people, and also it's entrepreneurship, it's not about being young. And as you know, a lot of international entrepreneurs, they are more than 40 most of the time. not young people. So entrepreneurship is about Hi, Emre.
Hi, how are you?
Thank you.
I'm sorry for being late. I'm not going to interrupt, but I'm going to apologize a bit late.
No worries. I'm continuing and then we will listen. By the way, I think your speaker is open, so there's an echo now. If you can. Yes, that's better now. Okay. About entrepreneurs, one of the most important things, of course, they have to have some dreams. They know how to dream. They must have ambitions about life. It's not about ambition to become rich. It's about ambition to change something, like İlker said. It's about having some dreams about life, having some dreams about going to space, having some dreams about changing things, loving to do the undoable, let's say, the impossible. So it's not only about making money, but now I know that we talk a lot about it. So we can extend the event for 15 more minutes. That's great from our admins. That's great because we want to listen Emre also. So now I will continue with Emre. Sorry, Emre, welcome again. Yes, please turn on your mic, Emre. Your mic.
You're on mute, Emre.
Yeah.
Yes.
I'm sorry for being late. I'm sorry. It was registered as 8 o'clock on my calendar. It was my bad. Actually, I was just waiting, hanging around for the event. I'm sorry for my mistake.
No
I'm sorry
worries.
from the viewers as well. We're gonna just be keeping them maybe 10 or 15 minutes more. My apologies.
So you are here. Could you please introduce yourself?
Yep. Well, I'm Emre. I'm the founder of tapu.com. Tapu is basically the first and still only the transactional real estate marketplace in Turkey. We're basically almost selling properties online. I'm saying almost because by law you have to complete the registry at the government office. But until that point, we are actually finding the buyer, appointing the price level, and so on. So basically, until the registration office, everything is now online. I'll come back to Tapu and its details a bit later. Let me complete a little bit of my story. Actually, I worked in a lot of telco and internet companies. Mostly my corporate career was in Turkcell, sahibinden, Yandex, like some of the examples. Before that, I was also working in a Coca-Cola company at one point, like just to give you a highlight of what I did. So basically, I spent all my years until the age of 42 in corporate life. So basically, just to complete my story, to service your event topic, actually. First, I don't know, almost 20 plus years of my life was in corporate life, salary life. And then actually, with the help and encouragement of my investors today, we basically launched Tapu. We can go back to the story if we have the time. Just let me know how long I have for the story. But basically, Tapu was founded in 2015. It was actually a fruit of the extensive research we did in the second half of 2014. So we worked on it for almost half a year. So basically, after I left my last position in Yandex Turkey, my investors of today actually called me in. So basically, we started off as what you might call as an entrepreneur in residence type of a beginning. I was coming up with all sorts of possible big exits, big equity scenarios to do in Turkey. And then this was one of the huge ideas that flew by the investment committee. So we started with it. And that's how Tapu was born in 2015 February.
Okay. Emre, if you have headphones, could you please use them? Because we hear my voice two times.
I'm sorry. Let me try that.
Sorry about it. Is it working? Do you hear me now?
Yeah, I do. Do you hear me now?
Okay, great. That's better. Thank you very much.
Okay.
So,
no problem.
while you are not here, we talked about the smooth. It's not so smooth, I know, but let's say the change from corporate life to startup life. So you have a long corporate history. What do you say about it? What's the difference between corporate life and startup life?
Well, actually, my last position was basically the most spoiled one in terms of corporate. It was like while I was accepting my last position in my corporate world, corporate career, I was choosing the color of the car that they were going to buy for me. So it was kind of like a football player transfer. So I acted really spoiled, and I enjoyed the last professional position as much as I could. So after that, basically, I gave back the Audi and I jumped on the public transportation. That's my that's my transport, which happened in a day. It was quite a fast shift, actually, and it's also accompanied by the mind shift as well, because this is how I look at it. If you want to be part of the system, then you're okay to be part of the corporate world and be spoiled by it and ride off the system, actually. And of course, provide some results to be kept employed, basically. But actually, if you want to change the world and if you want to change the existing status quo, then of course you have to take a lot of risks, and those risks are actually not only the salary, but all the status, all the company cars, all the extensive holidays, and all sorts of frills that come with the spoiled professional positions. So basically, I am by nature not part of the system. So that was kind of obvious, and actually I was already having hard time with my incompatible nature in the existing corporate world. Actually, that at first that was kind of an advantage, because I was the goofy, creative one coming up with new ideas and new business models and so on. So it was kind of looking like a advantage at first, but then it started creating problems, because my ideas and my incompatibility were creating more problems than I could ever solve. So it was actually imminent that the corporate life was coming to an end for me at one point, and that's what happened. So the transition was actually not that hard, because I knew the corporate life and being part of the system is not getting me anywhere in terms of where I want to be. And by the way, in terms of spoiled corporate jobs, I even took a private jet. I mean, that's the highest level of spoiled you could get in a corporate job, I guess. But I mean, things happen, and hopefully after we can change the world, one property transaction at a time, hopefully maybe we can fly, if ever. I mean, that's really not my point in life, but if ever, maybe we can fly a private jet again once more at one point down the line. Anyways, so the transition was really harsh. It was like hitting a wall, but it was kind of what I wanted. So it wasn't a big deal.
No, nice. It's a great story, by the way. We will have another 15 minutes. Let's talk about the must-have skills of entrepreneurship. if of course it's a long list, I know, but let's start with the first ideas that you have in your mind. Emre, let's go with you again. We want to hear you more now.
Okay, sorry again for being late.
No.
So the must-have is, I believe, resilience, because it's not easy. It's not happening overnight. It takes years. Actually, even if you have the product market fit in a short while, realizing it's a product market fit and understanding in acknowledging the fit takes years. So, and actually, sometimes it's really hard to accept the fact that there is a product market fit even on your first week. This is actually one of my disadvantages at the start of the startup, because we are the first and only representative of this business model. The business model, due to legislation differences, exists in the US and in other parts of the world. But actually, as we launched 2015 August, we had 3 transactions in our first week. And I still don't know how that happened. I mean, yes, of course, we did a lot around the product experience and so on, but still, I could never imagine that first week we would do 3 transactions. So that was like the biggest hurdle in my life, because I don't know how it happened. So I said, okay, don't touch anything because it's working, but don't touch anything because I don't know how we did it. So let's try to reverse engineer and try to understand how we did it so we can do more of it, because it was like a huge surprise. And actually, very early on, product market fit, or what seemed like a product market fit, actually really slowed us down, because normally, I told you about resilience. You have to keep on trying. It's like trial and error. You have to learn from your experiments and so on. But actually, since we had 3 transactions in our first week, back in 2015, we totally stopped trying, and we wanted to first understand how we did it. So that was actually the huge loss of time. So even the early on product market fit can slow you down. So you have to keep on trying, and that's basically comes back to resilience. And you have to have the grit to keep on try, come back every day, and maybe start with the notion of, look, I don't know how to do this thing, and I have to learn it to do it better. Because when you think you know, then you stop. Or at least you stop experimenting, and that's what happened at the beginning, which was actually a huge problem for us. We couldn't. First, of course, we were really cheering, dancing, and stuff, because when we launched August 2015, our first year target was like 7 transactions until the end of the year, but we did 3 in our first week. So that was like, I mean, it seemed like a huge bliss, but then it hindered our growth. We finished the year with 22 transactions. Now we're doing 20 transactions in a given day. But I mean, we lost a huge time around that. You have to keep on trying to progress.
Yeah. İlker, what do you say about it? What's the must-have skills for entrepreneurs?
I think, like, I agree with Emre's point. Resilience is very, very important. And I think it's one of the things that helped me run my company, helped me succeed. But I think if you ask any founder, you will get different answer, right, to this question. And because the reason is, every story of a startup is different. Every story of the founder is different. Every startup's hurdles, challenges are different. So you need to have different set of skills to overcome those challenges, and so on and so forth. I cannot say, I think there is no certain formula or recipe for like set of skills that you need to have. But I think, like, from my experience, I think like resilience is number 1. You have to endure pain. You have to endure many hurdles you face, and always come up with some positive attitude. Like even if you fail, even if you screw up, you need to embrace it as your own fail, as your own screw up, and then try to do better next time, and always do next time. Never give up. So I think that's important. I think having patience is important. Like you have to be patient, as Emre said. It's taking longer than you think. So if you come up with some plans, okay, in 3 years, 5 years, I will do this, my company will do this, it will take probably 6 or 10 years, right? So it will take double the time. So I think like as the company grows, you need to learn to delegate your duties to other people. I think it's really important as you grow. So like every phase of the company is different. Every company is different from the others. So I think at the end of the day, you just have to not give up. So that's as long as you don't give up, you develop your skills to overcome the challenge.
Çağlar?
Resilience is the first skill. I agree. I agree with Inanç too, but let me put a name. Teamwork is second skill. You should always be working with a team, with your founders, your investors, etc. And probably third skill is problem solving. You need to be solving whatever problem you face as fast as possible to become successful. But let me just put a point here. Resilience is generally confused with patience. Resilience is not patience. Resilience, while we are saying resilience, if I'm wrong, please correct me, Emre, İlker. We are mentioning that on this, while waiting patiently, you need to keep your mental health, physical health on the line. You shouldn't be harming your life, etc. And you need to continue you need to develop step by step. It's not like you need to be resilient in eventually good things happen. Is not the case. You need to be mentally healthy, physically healthy, develop day by day, so everything will be okay.
It's
yeah, you have to be up in the game every day. That's how I see resilience. Resilience is not just waiting in the sense of patience. You have to show up every day, like it's your survival day. I would like to add actually one more thing. I wrote about this on a question in Quora as well. When you're at the beginning of your entrepreneurship, it was my first startup, so it's actually I was a bit inexperienced in terms of how these things would happen. Entrepreneurs actually by nature want to amplify things. Even a small problem becomes like the end of the world, or even a small daily success which you won't remember after a year becomes like a world champion story. So
Emre, just to put around, I give an example on that a couple of minutes ago in the match. The corner is not just a corner. Emre is mentioning that. I'm closing the parenthesis. Please continue, Emre.
Yeah. Okay. So don't amplify. I mean, these things happen. You're not the first if you don't have a patented technology. So it happened before. It's not only your problem. I mean, don't amplify the problems and the successes. Just keep your head down and keep working. And that comes back to resilience in a different angle.
Yes. Now we are in our last 5 minutes. We will listen 3 ambitious startups there. We will see their pitch presentations after us. So let's finish with our famous last words. Hopefully not the famous last words, but your last words for this session at least. Let's start with İlker.
I think it was a great session. I had, great fun as I expected. So thanks for listening. I hope we were able to provide our perspective on the journey. But again, everyone's journey is different. we're just trying to explain what we've gone through, and so yeah, that's it. Thank you. Thanks for watching.
That's why it's very important to listen your journey, every journey, and to try to understand and create your own journey. Yeah, Çağlar, let's go.
I mean, we help each other. İlker helped me. We are always in contact as entrepreneurs. If you want to join this, if you have more questions, I wrote my email and my Twitter account in there, or you can add me through LinkedIn. Any place you can reach to us. So don't hesitate to ask your questions. We are always here to help, because our previous successful entrepreneurs are there to help us. We are trying to expand the entrepreneurship and investment world all together. So don't hesitate to ask your question and reach to us.
Thank you very much, Çağlar. Emre, I see your mail address also, and I write my Twitter account here.
Okay, well, I just took the tip from Çağlar. So I changed it to my email address. You can just connect me on LinkedIn. You can just mail me.
Yes.
I might be slow in responding, but since I had a shorter time, if you have any questions to me, you can just connect with me. The famous last words, actually, well, life is too short to learn only from your mistakes. Just try to learn from others' mistakes. Just read a lot, and of course communicate a lot, because everybody else has a good or bad story to tell, and this is like as we call in Turkish, like the military service memories. That there's always long startup failures and successes that people want to tell you about, and you can actually of course you're not probably doing the same line of business, but in terms of point of views, you can actually learn a lot from others. This is still something that I'm trying to do, even after 5.5 years into the startup, because I don't have enough time to experiment everything by myself and learn from my mistakes. So that's the only tip I can add to İlker and Çağlar.
Emre, thank you very much. Thank you very much for those tips. And I think now Atahan will join us. Atahan, yes, there he is.
Hello, everybody.
Hi, Atahan. Welcome back.
That was a great discussion. It was a really informative and positive discussion. And I'd like to thank all of you for this awesome discussion. And now we will have the pitch night, and two founders of super projects performing tonight. They will have 3 minutes for the presentation, for each presentation. And after that, I would like for our speakers to give feedback to...
Are they still online, or three of them?
Here.
Okay.
Now,
great.
I would first like to give the word to İlham Cem Drew from Resardis. So İlham, the stage is yours.
Thank you. Hello, everyone. My name is Cem. I'm co-founder of Resardis. As a Resardis team, we are building a decentralized cryptocurrency exchange on top of Matic network, which is a sidechain of Ethereum. Firstly, I will tell why we need decentralized exchanges, and secondly, I will tell why we choose to build our decentralized exchange on top of a sidechain. So firstly, cryptocurrencies are valuable because they are censorship resistant, permissionless, and open to everyone. So we need to maintain these features all the time, even during trading. But when a cryptocurrency users use a centralized exchange, first they need to get permission. Then they need to give all full control of their funds to the centralized exchange. And since centralized exchanges have all the control of the funds, they can censor users, or they can take all funds and run away. Even they can get hacked. And we saw a lot of examples of loss of funds already, and many of users lost their funds. So therefore, by using centralized exchanges, we are losing all important features of cryptocurrencies. And basically, the centralized exchanges are not very secure because we have to trust an authority. As a solution, we can build decentralized exchanges on top of Ethereum. Ethereum is a blockchain that gives us an opportunity to have decentralized applications. Once we write our code in decentralized manner, the application works on Ethereum network fully automatically. That's why the users doesn't need to trust third parties because there is no authority. It's all about the automation. Basically, the code is low in these applications. But there is another problem, which is scalability. Yes, Ethereum is secure and it's decentralized, but currently using it is so expensive and it is very slow. And without solving this problem, it's not very useful to everyone. Currently, there are several proposals to solve this problem, and one of them is sidechain. Basically, sidechains are separate blockchains on top of Ethereum blockchain. They are interconnected each other, and sidechains are taking all security elements from Ethereum network. That's why they can be designed as much faster and much cheaper blockchains. So as a result, we choose the Matic network as a sidechain solution. Then we deploy our code to Matic network sidechain. People will have an opportunity to trade their cryptocurrencies without trusting anyone, very cheaply and very fastly in a very user-friendly manner. So as a summary, Resardis is a decentralized exchange built on sidechain, and it will run on Resardis website and mobile platforms. We are currently working on our demo. You can follow our news on resardis.com, and once the demo is ready, we will invite everyone to test our product. So basically, that's it.
Wow, thank you. That was a great presentation. And now I will ask our panelists about the feedback and supplement questions to your presentation. So what do you guys think? Do you have anything to say about the presentation?
Jam, I think we've met a couple of months ago through a mentoring session, I guess. With
I think it was
Telecom.
my teammate, Yekcan.
Yeah, I think it was your teammate because this is the first time I see you. Yeah, I think the concept is promising. But I, as I mentioned to your friends in that session as well, look, I don't have many Bitcoin or blockchain or cryptocurrency experience, so I'm not the right person to have have an advice from in that sense. But maybe one advice would be, since this topic, if like myself, I'm an engineer, I'm a computer engineer, and I'm a founder, technology startup founder, and even I have a hard time understanding this stuff, right? So maybe trying to find some easier way to explain certain stuff about your business might be beneficial, like trying to explain this thing as you were explaining it to your mother, father, grandfather, grandmother. That will make much sense. I mean, at least for investors as well, because I've seen many investors who does not know anything about technology and current trends. You cannot believe it. There are many of them. So it's maybe a good idea to try to look at it from that way.
Yeah, thank you very much for the feedback.
But yeah, great concept. I guess I hope you guys be successful.
Thank you.
Any other feedbacks, questions?
Emre?
Yeah, actually, I would like to take the opportunity to a bit learn from Cem. How many decentralized exchanges are there in the world right now?
There are many right now on top of Ethereum network. I
Not
don't know
only
the
Ethereum.
exact
I mean,
number.
Ethereum is kind of a popular altcoin. I can understand that, but including Bitcoin as well. How many decentralized exchanges are there? Like, is it like 100 or 1,000 or 10,000?
No, not that much. Maybe currently 15 to 20 in total, I would say.
Okay.
Including all the cryptocurrencies?
We are talking about decentralized exchanges.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
Including all the cryptocurrencies, Bitcoin, Ethereum, and other ones, all the platforms. It's in total 15 to 20.
Okay.
Yes.
So of the 20, what separates the successful ones from the unsuccessful ones?
Currently, it's all about the trust because we are trusting the platform here. We are trusting the code here. So the most tested one is the most popular right now. So once the one exchange have a lot of transactions, people think that, okay, this exchange must be very secure to use it, and the people continue to use it based on the trust and the trend right now.
So does it boil down to who has more marketing dollars?
Yeah, having a marketing dollars, it really helps in that case, in my opinion. But Ethereum is a community, and getting some attraction from community is very important, in my opinion.
Okay, I don't have any Bitcoins or Ethereums. I mean, I don't have the money to buy them anyways, but the other thing is, even if I had, I wouldn't be creating another problem front in my life. I have enough problems to solve, so I don't want to check every day what's going up and down. So we have enough problems to solve in our life. So I'm really clueless about why people are buying Ethereum and selling Ethereum, and why do we need a decentralized exchange, although I understand the fundamentals and the reasoning behind. So I'm just trying to learn here as well. So if my question and understanding is, if ever you have something other than marketing dollars to propose to the Ethereum community that you're doing better than the other 20 exchanges, I think it's a worthwhile effort. But if you're not able to create any other difference than the other 20, then I would like you to focus on that differentiation. Because my question here would be, does the world need another decentralized exchange? And if you're telling me, yes, it does, because then I would like to know why. And if you don't know the answer to that today, you should probably find that out quick, because by the time we're talking, 20 other guys are launching decentralized exchanges as we speak.
Yeah. Our main difference is we are using a sidechain, which makes the transactions faster and cheaper, and that's the main difference right now.
Okay, and of the 20, are they using that sidechain, any of them? Or you're the only one?
Currently, a couple of them started to use the alternative solutions, but we will be the first on the sidechain.
Do you have any timing about the launch?
Not exactly right now, but we are hoping to launch within 2 months, I hope. But it's not exact timeline right now, because it's very new technology, and every day a new problems occurs.
Jem, I have only one question. You are like a great team, as I understand from your profiles, and you seem to know what you are doing. But just from curiosity, you and your founders seem that you could be a great team for biotech. Why didn't you choose to go on that subject, or instead you went to the blockchain world?
Yeah, that's a good point, because two of us actually coming from the biotechnology field, but we have patience for blockchain, and we believe that it might change the world, because we believe in decentralized world, and we want to do something about it, and we want to help people to have some kind of censorship resistant finance, and we want to part of it. It's basically a personal interest, I would say.
Çağlar, I think I know the main reason he don't want to tell it. Last year I read an article about the DNA-based cryptocurrency works. Did you read some articles about it? Maybe your next step will merge the biotech with cryptocurrencies.
Yeah, I saw these projects. Looks interesting.
Well, the case is, if I hear you a project, a startup company on biotech, let's say world, I would definitely be mailing some of the investors now, saying that these great guys know a lot about biotech and they started a startup. Just look into it. They seem like what they're doing on that. But on blockchain, you don't have that much background according to your profiles. Just for your knowledge, maybe you can add something to your background about blockchain, what you have worked on, what the codes you have wrote, because the first your LinkedIn is so strong. It's a clear. No one can say the opposite to that. But it is just not related to blockchain at all.
I see the point. Yeah, we actually worked previously in one blockchain project, but we were not a founder or anything. We were just worker there as the same team. But yeah, it's a very good point. Maybe we need to mention these and show what we did already.
Good luck.
Thank you very much.
Well, thank you for your insights and feedbacks, and thank you to Cem for a great pitch, and we wish you all the best in continuation of your business.
Thank you very much. It was a pleasure to meet you.
It was a pleasure to have you as well.
Thank you.
I now give over to Yiğit Alp from T-Fashion. So Yiğit, the stage is yours.
Hi everyone, my name is Yiğit and I'm the co-founder of T-Fashion. So T-Fashion is basically a platform that provides fashion analytics and customized trend insights to companies that operate in the fashion, retail and textiles industry. And to become a winner in $1 trillion fashion industry, companies have to keep up with the fast-changing trends, and they have to follow up with the dynamic needs and wants of their customers. And so why did we start T-Fashion? So I have always been interested in technology, and with my co-founder, we had been leading a couple of technology projects for more than 3 years. And at the same time, my parents were working in the Turkish textile and fashion industry, and they had been actually working in the textiles industry for more than 20 years. And with my co-founder, we actually had a chance to go out and observe how a fashion product ends up in a store, starting from the designing process. And throughout that process, we realized that all of these fashion companies are not using data throughout their decision-making process. And this actually creates a big problem in the fashion industry. There are actually a couple of other trend insights platforms, and they have been there for more than 20 years, but they also do not provide any kind of data. They basically provide subjective commentary coming out of the fashion experts in the industry. So this system actually creates a problem about one of the most important factor in the fashion in a fashion company, the trends, and knowing the trends beforehand. So with this, actually we can see the couple of the biggest problems in the fashion industry. Firms are facing with overstock products, and overstock products brings massive waste. And this is one of the biggest problems in the fashion industry. We're talking about big numbers here. Just in 2018, H&M was unable to sell $4.3 billion worth of clothing. So when we're talking about trends, social media is the place to look for, right? So social media, let's think about Instagram. There are more than 5 billion fashion related posts, and so far Instagram has become a global hub for fashion. And Instagram is such a place that we can actually see the target audiences of our brands, of our textile manufacturers, of retailers, and we can also see the people that affects this target audience, the trendsetters, influencers. We can see the fashion brands that these target audiences are interested in. We can also see the fashion events that act as signals about the trends. So basically, we can analyze all of these different data points by looking at one platform, and then we can actually understand trends by all of these different data points. So how does T-Fashion work? T-Fashion is basically, so our customers basically subscribe to our platform, and they can easily define their target audience, the age range, the gender they're looking for, the location that they're aiming. And after defining their target audience, we go out and find out all of these different data points that I mentioned just before. The target audience, the influencers, etc. And then we analyze all of the images, all of the posts that were shared by these different data points. So for each of our customers, we analyze millions of images to understand the trends for them. And from each of these images, we understand the clothing type, the design attributes, the color schemes, the gender, the age, the location, the accessories. So we can basically understand all of the fashion related stuff by looking at a photograph with our AI algorithms. And after doing this step for millions of images, we end up with a big data in which we can extract trends and turn them into visual reports on our platform. And the data we offer is so valuable that it can be used not only for the designing process, but also for coming up with a marketing and sales strategy. So far, we analyzed more than 30 million images with 90% precision. And right now, T-Fashion is empowering top fashion brands, retailers, textile manufacturers. And right now, we're actually looking out for the seed funding opportunities. So yeah, please reach out if you have any advice for us, and let's change the fashion industry together.
Wow, great. Thank you. That was a great presentation. Now I will ask our panelists about their feedbacks and questions. So what do you guys think? Do you have anything to say and ask?
Guys?
I can start the question if you want. Okay, that's a great idea, basically. But the thing that I want to know, okay, you find a trend here, but is this a trend of today or tomorrow? Because
so
basically the fashion industry needs to know the next trend, not today's trend.
Yeah, that's right. So the thing is, like, how we approach the trends and understanding trend is that, like, we go out and after finding out all of these accounts, we analyze this the defined target audience starting from 2015. So we have 5 years worth of historical data. We can see which types of styles our target audience has adapted to in before, and which type of trends they are tended to buy in the future. So by looking at the historical data, we can actually foresee what will happen next in the market. So we use state-of-the-art machine learning algorithms to make sense of all of these big data to forecast what will happen in the coming year.
Thank you.
I have questions, Heath.
Yeah.
If I may. Great presentation. Thanks for that. I think it's a great idea. So I have a question. So do you have already paying clients?
Yeah, we do.
Perfect. Do you mind sharing their names, or
Um, I can share
or
like
at least are they from Turkey or somewhere else?
so like most of our customers, like actually paying customers, are from Turkey. But I would like to say that like most of the demand that we have been receiving so far is coming outside of Turkey. So people that are outside of Turkey for the fashion industry is much more educated about how to use data. So they come to us asking for this data. But like in the market, in the Turkish market, we have to go out and tell how they can use the data to boost their business.
Yeah. So I'm like, my company is also working on the data and insights generation business, and I know the pain that you've gone through and you're going through. So like data and insights, they don't have the same importance as in the developed markets in Turkey, but it's improving. So my first advice would be to use this product maybe outside of Turkey, focusing on like other markets, especially the markets that has developed fashion culture. So that might be a good start. Not knowing the internal workings of the fashion industry. So other thing that I've learned through hard way is that, especially in Turkey, producing data and insights most of the time is not enough for the clients, because if you think about it, they're like, your target audience is fashion industry, and fashion and data are too far away from each other. Like they're far away words from each other, right? I mean, like I can't think of fashion when I think about data. So those people are not already like maybe they've never used data before. They don't know how to use insights. They don't know how to approach that. So it might be a good idea to have some sort of like trend interpreters or consultants in your team that will take the data and insights that you generate and convert it into the language that the fashion people will understand and respect, right? So we've done that at 25, and we've seen a tremendous increase in our impact and also in our revenues with our clients. So maybe that might be a good idea if you haven't done it already. But yeah, I think great concept, great idea, and you guys seem to be doing well with the product. Hope you guys grow quickly and we hear more about you in the future.
Yeah, thank you so much.
I have a couple of questions to understand the thing better. Who is your customer inside the fashion brand?
So like the thing is, we were aiming the fashion designers when we started T-Fashion 2 years ago. And after going in the field and talking with all of these different fashion brands, we realized that, as İlker just mentioned, fashion and the data is very far away worlds. So when we start working with these brands, they were actually, like in fashion hierarchy, that there are different departments: the fashion designers, the buyer team, the sales and marketing teams. And even though we were aiming for the fashion designers, the brands were much more tended to use the data that we provide to them, to their marketing strategies, to their sales and buyer teams. But right now, as İlker mentioned, we are focusing on the interpretation way. We have to find ways to visualize the data that we use so that fashion designers can work with it. This was basically the biggest challenge that we had so far.
Okay, so in terms of monetization, how are you charging your clients? Is it like a subscription per month thing, or per data point? How is the monetization?
Yes. So the pricing is very flexible on our platform. So our customers all pay for each of the target audience that they have. For example, if you are a big brand, you will have different target audiences. You will have an audience in Turkey, or maybe Istanbul and Ankara and Izmir, and then you will have another target audience in Russia. So for each of these target audience, our customers pay a monthly fee.
Okay, so it's basically to track different audiences you're paying, but you're not paying on the data generated. It's just the audiences. And
Actually,
are you in terms of data visualization and interpretation and so on, are you publishing automatic monthly or weekly reports, or they have to come and dig in to extract data?
they like the data that we provide is very dynamic. So we don't provide trend reports weekly or monthly. But like the thing is, like they can just log into their account and they can see all of the dynamic data. We refresh our data on a daily basis. So this is basically how it works.
Okay, and are you growing right now? Did you launch, or the paying first customers are just the pilot or the beta phase customers?
Actually, we had our POCs in February 2020, and like starting with November 2020, we start working with our product with paying customers. So we're growing right now. Yeah.
And what is your growth model? Can you find brands online, or you have to take appointments and do B2B sales one-on-one with each of them?
So right now for Turkey, we have to go out and list the potential early adapters that are, much more friendly with data, and go out to them and tell about our product. For the global market, actually, the people that are looking out for data comes to us, and we're not talking about like small brands. So far, we had a chance to meet and discuss the product with Gucci, Balenciaga, Calvin Klein, Tommy Hilfiger. They all found out about T-Fashion through organic search through Google. So like global brands are much more into because like the fashion industry is transforming right now. They have to use the data, and I believe that it will come and move towards Turkey. This trend also will move towards Turkey in the coming years. So this is how it works. Like we can talk about two different aspects: the Turkish market and the global market.
Okay, so if ever you can actually solve the online conversion for the global market, I think this is going to be hit. I mean, if I were you, I could just forget about even the Turkish market for now, because the Turkish market is also part of the global brands, audiences, and so on. So if you can just come up with a success story from one of the brands you're talking about, if I were you, I would just give them free of charge success story. I mean, use that Gucci story to lock in other type of clients. But anyways, I think your idea is great. What you're doing is great. I hope you will be successful beyond your dreams, and just keep on trying and building the product and shipping it.
Thank you so much.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Yiğit, just quickly, the idea is great. Yeah, it seems that you are still very young. It will take a couple of years. Just for advice, put it in that way. Don't hurry. Don't hurry to be successful. Make it point by small by small. Let's say, if everything not goes great at once, don't hesitate to continue.
Yeah. Be resilient, you say.
Yeah.
Good luck.
Nice to meet you.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you for your feedbacks and insights for Yiğit, and I would like to thank Yiğit for this great pitch. And we wish you all the best in your continuing of your business. Well, here we are at the end of tonight's stream. It was a pleasure to have all of you and everyone here. I want to thank our panelists, Çağlar, İlker, and Emre, and our great moderator, Doruktan, so much for taking their time, and also for your wonderful sentences on being a founder, and your experiences and about your journey as well. And we would like to also thank you, all of you who watched this stream and gave us your time. At the same time, I would like to invite every one of you to our next event, where we will talk with a former CIA agent about his startup journey. And you can already register it on our website. And we're looking forward to seeing you. And for the whole Disrupt family, we wish you a whole pleasant rest of the evening.
I get up, I get up, can't deny it.